skyrocketing. And I'm
Why
like,
do they
can't be that
change?
much of a connection? Like honestly, like the latest bombing, and there's been bombing going on forever. Like I kind of think like they just take advantage of our
No,
paranoia.
they're thinking ahead. No,
Yeah.
what they're doing is they're thinking ahead. Wait a minute, in about 3 months, we will not be able to get it. So let's make up some of the difference now.
Look at all this interest. This is what can happen with the kids. I'm going to cut off this conversation. I'm sorry. Just so that we can move on. We're going to have one more group go, my group go, and then we'll take a quick 5-minute bathroom break. Yeah? Okay. Ready? The winning group. Go.
Show of hands, how many of you guys have met Little Rodney before?
Oh yeah, Lee and I.
Right, okay, Lee had a good, like, run-in with Little Rodney, right? You know, he was here over the summer, he's always
Little Rodney, your Little Rodney?
My Little Rodney.
I know.
So, I was thinking of a real problem that could really help me out a lot. So, as a single parent, I raised that little feisty Little Rodney alone, and sometimes it gets very overwhelming. Particularly with childcare, it's really difficult to find folks to, you know, I don't have family in the area, so it's difficult to be able to get out and have my own life because I'm always with him. So I think it would be really helpful for me if there was some type of a collaborative group of single parents or parents who struggle with childcare to work collaboratively to kind of share child caring duties, initially on weekends and potentially for evenings and even weekdays if need be. So for communications, I thought about things such as a student would do surveys, questionnaires, some advertising, interviewing potential parents, collecting NBCs, and some logistics stuff in terms of coordinating sitter schedules, locations and things like that. For QR, there's obviously a lot of budgeting and projecting of anticipated costs, so they can look at that. Maybe some possible demographic stuff. They can do some plots or pie charts, things like that. Maybe a cost-benefit chart, so something comparing the cost to, you know, paying for child care services on the weekend, as opposed to, you know, if you were to join this collaborative group. For SR, they could do studies on effective parenting strategies for single parents or parents who are overwhelmed. For ER, and I want to thank you guys for giving me some great feedback on ER. They could do, the thesis could potentially surround possible, I don't want to say successful children because all successful, but potential outcomes for, so in other words,
For desired outcomes, yeah.
Desired outcomes, right? Well, just think more about if a child is raised by a single parent versus a married couple versus the joint custody thing. Is there a correlation between how, you know, with particular pathways or how they chart their life? And for PQs, obviously we need someone who's, you know, a student or a group of students who are particularly organized, who are visionaries and are going to be very persistent and persevere as well. Some of the ideas that I got was a potential parent play date type thing, because the parents need some fun too. So maybe the kids get together, someone watch the kids, and the parents do some pick-me-up type team building activities. Kind of make us feel good, right? Also, potential CTE type stuff, whereas students would pursue some type of child care certification, so they can help do some, you know, running things around that. And one thing I wrote down that Chantel said was about going deeper. I forgot all about it. Like this project stuff, which I'm still trying to, you know, develop for myself. But projects is about going deeper and thinking about projects as a way, kind of like a gateway. Kind of thinking about the speech that Doc gave yesterday. When he talked about, I can't think of the guy that was on the screen and the big thing. The rabbi guy, yeah. I was talking about the difference between
Erwin.
school and education. I never really thought about it. I put the two together. But kind of like how projects could be kind of this gateway to get students excited about education as opposed to school. So, so hopefully I can, you know, if a kid were to get in this project, they would be so wrapped up in it, so excited about it. They were like, how can I go deeper into this? And I just had like this aha moment, like that's what this stuff's about. It's like getting the kid excited so he can go deeper, want to go deeper, want to investigate.
awesome.
Cool. Good idea. Any ideas to add to this?
I'm
Courtney.
thinking, I don't think you mentioned this, like surveying the community to find out what the needs are and then analyzing that data to say like, who are the people? Is it just single parents? Is it, you know, like, and where do they live and how many are there and all that kind of stuff? What kind of needs do they have? And then also, if and when it got going, some like marketing and advertising to get like the word out to people in different communities.
Also, what's already out there, so like, I know I just talked to a parent about like a West End Providence co-op, that is similar, but not as intricate as you're talking about, so I wonder what you could build off of, so you're not recreating from the start, but maybe you're building something off of what's already started. And I was gonna go, so maybe we can connect.
Right.
Cool. Erica, did you have a
I have a
suggestion?
suggestion. Have you ever heard of the movie The Single Moms Club that recently came out? Definitely watch it because when you were speaking, the movie is exactly what you're talking about. And in the movie, they actually started the parent collaboration that you're speaking of.
Wow.
So just watch it for inspiration because it probably will help give some more ideas.
You know your principal has an idea right now that I just got. Oh my goodness. There's nothing I love more than a movie night and making it look like a movie theater at P Street. Why wouldn't you have a movie night and show the Single Moms Club movie and invite parents to come in, and then maybe that's the night where you have your students share the project and say, here are the resources available, this is the survey stuff that I did, blah, blah, blah. Like that could be the cool event to like feature their project. Why not do it for mid-trimester? Okay, let's do it. Let's put on the learn plan. I'm not going to. Yeah, that would be cool. Kim, the mic.
When my kids were little, we did have a few neighbors that we would do stuff like that with occasionally, not on a regular basis. But what we would do is, one of them had an older teenager, and we'd all give a certain amount. That kid made out, let me tell you.
Absolutely.
You know, so we could go out,
Yeah.
and she would bring a friend, and they'd split it, you know. But they also took the babysitting class at Limited Infants. And so they were, you know, they had some sort of certification for themselves, which was helpful. But I was wondering if we could do like almost like with you in mind or other single parents in mind, like a babysitting club that we could call on, and we know the kids, we know they're certified, and they could do something like that.
Cute.
So
Mike?
when we first found out like Jess was pregnant, like I had this idea around my band, so I was like, oh, I'm never gonna go to band again. And then that turned out that did not happen. But I don't go as much for sure. But there were other people in the band having kids, and I was like, there's got to be a way that we can make this happen. If like one of us, takes one night a month, and we watch everybody's kids, everybody else goes. It didn't work out for us yet because the kids were at such varied ages, their sleep schedules were different, and like coordinating, getting home, doing dinner, all that type of stuff. It's tough. But it always still seemed doable. I think it's because we had such a small group that we were limited. But within the Met, you do have a large group of people with this need, and you could potentially reach outside of it, that network too, or through students and their families. But you definitely need a location, right? Or even multiple locations, depending where people are coming from and where they're going. There'd be room for like, the organizational part of this potentially gets very challenging. But there's so many options now for like apps and stuff like that. Like this could be like the type of thing a kid could actually develop an app for. It's like, where do you live, where are you going, what's your time frame, and then if there's enough of a need, then you book it, right? But at the start, just having a location like P Street is perfect, right? Because it's near Providence, not, you can figure out a way to either stay here, like get your kid and stay here, or come through and then go do something in town.
If you, I don't know if anybody's heard of, has anybody heard of meetups?
Yes.
Thing in
All over the country.
all over the country called meetups, where like you can post a group that you want to start,
Oh,
like
yeah.
a hiking group or a babysitting or whatever. But it's say you want a single parent group, and then you get together and you figure out what you want to do together, and you plan like once a month, and then maybe that's like you're a group, so you can move together and kind of do things together. But so do your kids, and they become friends and stuff too. So
Yeah,
maybe it's
yeah.
something like that you can post, or have students look into it and starting that group as a meeting.
That, I was thinking about something like that in terms of like interest area, because like Mike was saying his band, and Andrew oh, there's a tennis course right by my house, and the girls could like watch the kids when we all play tennis. So like, you know, like different groups, interest by interest area of like what the adults like to do, and then get somebody connected to each of those groups.
I was thinking of like how do you use like, Miss Elaine and Miss Raquel to help, because one, they know about like grant money for helping families and things like that, but they also host family night at our school that is normally free or very little amount of money, and they have volunteers, they have people from Brown who come and teach the classes, but they're available, there's stuff for little kids and babysitting, it's free food, but and there are classes for adults, and so maybe that's something where you're encouraging more parents to come in, and that's something that the students can work on as well, like getting parents to come in, and that is a safe space that you know you really can have your kids get tutored and get some stuff done there in the actual school, so that's cool. Good.